Hi there, welcome to this video. This is the second video in the GRE Big Book Quant series. In the last video, we did test 1, section 3. That was the first section of Quant. And in this video, we're going to do the next section, that is section 7. So I hope you're solving along the way. This is going to be a series of 54 videos, 27 tests and 2 sections of Quant each. And then after that, we'll also get into the verbal section. So I hope that you are following this along. Whenever you think you can pause the video and solve it, please do so. There is nothing more interesting or rather nothing more valuable than solving those questions yourself. All right, so without much ado, we'll get into this. So as I said, this is section 7, 30 minutes, 30 questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, quantitative comparison, column A, column B, the number of months in 7 years. Okay, so number of months in 7 years, so that is going to be 12 into 7. That's going to be 84. Number of days in 7 weeks. Sorry, number of days in 12 weeks. That's going to be 12 into 7 again. So that's 84, right? So the answer here, same. So answer is going to be C. Pretty straightforward. Okay, 1 minus 27, sorry, 1 minus 1 by 27. Okay, and I don't see a 27 here, so I think this is going to take some calculation. Let's first determine what the value of this figure would be. So 1 minus 1 by 27, that's basically 27 by 27, that's 1 minus 1 by 27. So it's going to be 26 by 27, right? So this is 26 by 27. Okay, let's look at this. I see that 8, 81 and 9, right? So the common denominator can be taken as 81, wherein we are going to multiply both of these numerators and denominators by 9. Okay, so that we get 81 at the bottom. Okay, so what do you basically get? 8 into 8 divided by, sorry, I'm sorry, it's 9 into 8. We are multiplying by 9, right? So this is 9 into 8 divided by 9 into 9 plus 1 by 81. So that's basically 72 by 81 plus 1 by 81. So what we get is 73 by 81. All right, okay, but still this is not sufficient because we have 27 here, we have 81 here, but we can easily see that 27 threes is 81. So let's just multiply this figure by 3. What do I get? I get 78. 26 into 3 is 78. 78 by 81 is what I get here, and what I have here is 73 by 81. Okay, so 81, 81 denominator is the same, so I'm just going to go with the bigger numerator. So the bigger numerator here is in column A. So the answer here is going to be A. All right. Okay, let's move on. Question 3. Triangle ABC is equilateral. Okay, so this is all 60, 60, 60. Sides are same. Okay. Line L is parallel to side BC. So this is line L parallel to side BC. All right. And line M is parallel to side AC. Line M is parallel to side AC. Okay. So what is the value of X? And we need to compare that with 60. Okay. So let's look at this. If I draw this line AC further, what do I get? I get two parallel lines, that is this and this is 60 degrees. Okay, and let me extend this also. Okay, if this is 60 degrees, this angle is also going to be 60 degrees, right? The same angle is coming down, so 60 degree. And same way here, this line and this line is also parallel. So if this angle is 60 degree, this angle is also going to be 60 degree. So X is actually 60, correct? And the answer here is going to be C. There could be another way of doing this. What you could also do is, let's say you extend this here, extend this here, and extend this here, right? And then you will realize that both of these are similar triangles. So again, this is also going to be equilateral. So this is also going to be 60 degrees. So there are multiple ways of doing this. The answer is C. Okay. Let's look at question 4. R is greater than S greater than 0. All right. I don't know anything about RS. I could take the numbers also. Let's say 3 greater than 2 greater than 0. Okay. What do I get here is RS. RS is 6 divided by R. R is, this is R. R is 3. And here what do I have? I have 6 divided by 2. Okay. Same number is getting divided by two bigger numbers. Obviously, where the denominator is bigger, that number is going to be smaller, right? So this is always like this. So the answer here is going to be B. Okay, you could do it the other way also. I mean, you could do R and R getting cancelled, S and S getting cancelled. So what do I have is S and R here. So S is smaller than R. Okay, again, multiple ways of doing it. Answer is going to be B. Let's look at question 5. The circumference of a circle C is 18 pi. So what is the circumference of a circle? Is 2 pi r is equal to 18 pi. Okay, so the r here is going to be pi cancelled. Okay, sorry, pi cancelled. What do I get here? 2 cancel 9. Okay, r is going to be 9. Okay, the diameter of circle, which is 2 pi, is going to be 18. Here the number given is 9, right? So the answer is going to be A, right? This is slightly tricky. People who are prone to making silly mistakes, they might just pick 9, right? But they are asking for diameter, not the radius. If this was radius, the answer would have been C. So be careful about these small things. Always whenever you hear radius or diameter, always double verify what are they actually talking about. Okay, 9 raised to 7, I don't know what 9 raised to 7 is, so I'll just keep it at that. But this figure should give me the clue, and that is that this is some power of 10, right? What is the power of 10? The second power of 2 is 100, right? So that means two zeros up after 1. The third power of 10 is 1000. Okay, so those many zeros after 1. Okay, so let's count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 10 raised to 7, right? Now I don't have to worry about this value because I know that this value is going to be less than 10 raised to 7 anyway, right? Because the power is the same, both are positive numbers, both are numbers greater than 1, right? So no complication there. Uh, so obviously the bigger number is going to be column B. So the answer here is B. Okay. The volume of a cube is 64. This is a cube. The volume of a cube is going to be, let's say if the base or the side is x, volume is going to be x cube. So that is 64. So x is equal to 4. 4 into 4, 16. 16 into 4, 64. Okay. So x is 4. What is the area of the base of the cube? That's going to be this side multiplied by this side. That means it's going to be 16 square units. Okay, they have not given the unit here, but whatever, 16 square units, and we have 32 here. Okay, so again the answer is going to be B. Okay, let's look at question number 8. T is a positive integer. Okay, so this guy is positive and we have a certain ratio 4/7, right? And we have to compare 7 and S. Okay, so let's find out a few examples. So if it is 4/7, the ratio has to be maintained. So it could be 8/14, right? I'm multiplying by 2. If I multiply by 3, I get 12/21, like that. Okay, so S is greater than 7 in these cases. But are there also other cases? There could be other cases where T is smaller than 4, right? For example, let's take a simple case, 2 divided by 7/2. Okay, the only information I have is that T is a positive number, so this is also possible, right? In that case, S is 7/2, which is less than 7. So in many cases it is greater than 7, in many cases it is less than 7. The answer is D. The key to this problem is to recognize that these possibilities also exist. Okay, that's the key. Okay, let's move on. Question 9, 0.82 square into 0.82 raised to 3. Okay, so this is of the form a square into a cube. So whenever the base is same, we just add the power. So what we get is a raised to 5. Okay, so this is 0.82 raised to 5. This is 0.82 raised to 6. So intuitively you will think that this number is bigger. Okay, but think again. Now this is a very tricky question. This number is less than 1. Every time we multiply a number with itself, a number less than 1 with itself, let's say 0.5. 0.5 into 0.5, you get 0.25. The number keeps on reducing. Correct? So this number, even if we have a greater power, this number is going to be smaller than this number. Correct? So the answer here is A. Okay, if it was 1.28 or 1 point anything, then the answer would have been B. Correct. So again, these questions are quite tricky. I like this question, both of them are tricky. Let's look at question 10. For all real numbers A, let A star equal to 1 minus A. Okay, it's some kind of a function. Let's do 2 star, that seems easy. 2 star is 1 minus 2 is equal to minus 1. So what I have here is minus 1. This is star of minus 1 star. Okay, so let's first find out minus 1 star. Minus 1 star is going to be 1 minus minus 1, which is going to be 1 plus 1, 2. And then I have 2 star. Okay, anyway, then I have this thing only. Okay, so that means 1 minus 2, again I'm going to get minus 1. Both basically is the same thing. What they have done is that this function, value of this function is 2. So essentially it's the same function. The answer has to be C. Alright, let's look at question 11. The area of unshaded region. Okay, I missed this information. The areas of two shaded regions of the circle are equal. These two are equal. Okay, this is not stated, but I'm assuming these are straight lines. Okay, this line and this line are straight lines. Okay, the two areas are equal. One way in which that can happen is when they're intersecting at the origin. Okay, for example, you take this circle, this is the origin, you draw a line, you draw another line, right? This is the origin. Obviously these areas are going to be equal because of symmetry. Okay, but there is another case, right? There is another case. For example, let's say this is the circle, this is the origin. Let's draw an imaginary line, vertical line like this. Okay, let's take one point that's not the origin, some other point like this point, and draw two lines from there. Okay, uh, this is not drawn to scale. Let me just try to make it more believable. Okay, like this is the origin, right? The point of intersection is not the origin, but still these two shaded regions will have equal area because we have drawn them around an imaginary line of symmetry, vertical line. Okay, there is only one type of symmetry here, vertical symmetry. Here we have horizontal symmetry also. Okay, that would again be a special case, right? So we don't know whether it is the origin or not. If it is the origin, we can we can compare these unshaded regions. That's what they are asking. And the shaded region A versus unshaded region B. In that case, that's going to be equal. But there is another case where the shaded regions can be equal, but the unshaded regions, one will be bigger, one will be smaller. Okay, so it's important again to observe this possibility. Otherwise, you are likely to get this wrong. So the answer here is D. Okay, let's look at 12. X is not equal to 0. All right, x divided by modulus of x and 1. All right, so let me take a positive number. 2 divided by modulus of 2. That's going to be 1. 1. The answer is C. Right. Let me take a negative number. Let's say minus 2 modulus of minus 2. That means minus 2 by 2. That's going to be minus 1. Okay. The answer is going to be B. Okay, I don't get a definite answer, so the answer has to be D. Okay, I am particularly liking this set because there are just so many sort of edge cases or special cases that you need to be aware about. In some of the previous questions also we saw that, right? So that's what is making this set very interesting. Okay, let's look at question 13. Team X scored P points more than Team Y, and the two teams together scored a total of 10 points. Okay, so let's say this is what X scored. X scored P points more than Y. Okay, so this is X score, this is Y score, both of them equal to 10. Sorry, this has to be Y, right? Okay, let me just simplify this. Okay, let's say team Y scored Y points, so team X has to score Y plus P points. Okay, and together that is Y plus Y plus P is equal to 10. Okay, right? Okay, what are they asking? Twice the number of points team Y scored, so that is 2y and 10 minus p. Okay, so what do I have here for my equation? For my equation, I get 2y plus p is equal to 10. That means 2y equal to 10. So 2y equal to 10 minus p. So 2y 10 minus p, same quantities. So the answer has to be C. Okay, let's look at this. X minus 1 into x plus 1 compared with x into x plus x. Okay, let's take simple numbers. Let's take x is equal to 1. So I get 1 here, I get 0 here, I get 2 here. The product is going to be 0. 1 into 1 into 1, the product is going to be 1. I get answer as B. Okay, let's take some big number. Let's say 2. So I get 2, 1, 3. The answer is 6. Uh, 2 into 2 into 2, answer is 8. Again, I get B. So I took a bigger number and I got the same answer. Now let me take a smaller number. Okay, and maybe a negative number also. Let's say minus 1. So what do I get? If with x minus 1, I get minus 1, minus 2, and 0. So the answer is going to be 0. And here with minus 1, I'm going to get minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1. I'm going to get a minus 1. So answer is going to be A. Right? So I took different cases, one starting from a start point and to the left and right of that. And sometimes you might even take bigger numbers, like let's say 100. Okay, I mean, don't take 100 because then calculation is going to be difficult. Maybe 5, right? As you will see that there is no clear answer here. So again, the answer is going to be D. Okay, question 15, the length of segment PS. Okay, there is this diagram, area of PQS, that is PQS, area is 45. Okay, this is a right angle triangle. Okay, let's say this base is X. Let's first do this calculation before we get to the question. So what do I get? Area is 45, so that means 45 is half into X into height, that is 12, right? So 45 is equal to 6 times X. So X is 45 by 6. That's going to be 15 by 2, 7.5. X is 16 by 7.5, 15 by 2. Sorry. Okay, that's good. Okay, now this is 20, and this bigger triangle is also Pythagorean triangle, right? So we can do Pythagorean. Let's say this whole thing is PR is Y. Let's say this whole thing is Y. So from there, what do I get? Hypotenuse square minus 12 square is y square, correct? 12 square plus y square is hypotenuse square. So the other way would be 400 minus 144 would be the square of y. Okay, so 400 minus 144 is 256, which is square of y. That means y has to be 16, correct? So x is 7.5, y is 16. I don't think there is any other. I mean, if you want, you can calculate this also, but I don't think that's required. The length of PS, they are asking about length of PS and length of SR. Okay, so length of PS we already know, 7.5. Length of SR is y minus x, which is 16 minus 7.5. 16 minus 7.5 will be 8.5. Okay, so now I have to compare 7.5 and 8.5. The answer is going to be B. Right, a little bit of calculation, but still straightforward. Other thing you can sort of prepare for is, the Pythagorean triplets. Just know a few of them, right? For example, 6, 8, 10, right? And generally these are like here also 12, 16, 20, right? 3, 4, 5. Those are also Pythagorean triplets. Generally the same numbers occur. They are not going to give you very big numbers, uh, at least in these kind of scenarios. Okay, so just by looking at those numbers, you will know that okay, you don't have to do all this calculation. I mean, if you do, if that the fact that these are Pythagorean triplets, that fact doesn't occur to you, you can still do the calculation. Not a big deal, but it just helps. It just gives you that much more confidence, and you will save a lot of time here, which you can use in other questions. All right, so that's question 15. Let's look at question 16. In a certain shop, notebooks that normally sell for 59 cents each. Okay, 59 cents each. are on a sale, 2 for 99 cents. Okay, interesting. So one, if I buy, I get for 59. If I buy two, I get for 99. So they are at a discount because two, generally I would have been required to buy them at 118. Now I'm getting at 99, some about 20% discount. Okay, how much can be saved by purchasing 10 of these notebooks at the sale price? Okay, I want to get 10 notebooks. I'm able to get two notebooks for 99. So 10 notebooks I'll get, multiply by 5, 99 into 5 would be 495. Okay, uh, and I'm interested in saving. If I were to buy them at individual rate, that would have required me to shell out 590. Okay, so how much am I saving? I'm saving 590 minus 495, so I'm saving 95 cents, right? So answer is B, right? Is there any calculation mistake? Because these numbers are pretty close. I think we are right. Let's do another way of doing this. For every two what is this, notebooks? Okay, for every two notebooks, how much am I saving? I am saving 19 cents, correct? Because individually 180, if I buy in a set of two, I get 19, get it for 99. So I, for every two, I save 19. So for 10, how much would I get? So multiply by 5 again, I get 95. Okay, that's another way of doing it. Again, we just did two ways, we got the same number, so that means we are correct. Okay, let's move on. Which of the following is a solution to, okay, this figure is for another question already. Let me draw a line. Which of the following solution to x plus x square equal to 1? Let me take x common, so I get 1 plus x equal to 1. Okay, I'm not able to think of any numbers right now, but I'm sure this is a quadratic equation, so there will be some solutions. Okay, uh, but do I have to worry about that? No, because that would be way more difficult than required for the question, because the answer choices are given, right? So let me just pick the numbers, and there's also none of the above, so it's going to be likely to be a tricky one. Let's do minus 1, which is minus 1 a solution here? So let's say instead of doing the quadratic one, I have already simplified. So let's see, minus 1 into 0. Okay, 1 plus x is 0, right? So that's going to be 0, it's not going to be 1, so this is not the solution. 0 into 1, now I'm looking at 0. If x is 0, then this becomes 0 into 1, again I get 0, not 1, this is out. Half, half into half plus 1, that's 3 by 2, is 3 by 4, not 1, so this is out. If I take 1, what do I get? 1 into 2, correct, x plus 1, 1 into 2, I get 2. I don't get this, so answer has to be none of the above. You can also do it the quadratic way. You can write it like this: quadratic formula, x square minus, sorry, plus x minus 1 is equal to 0, and you can use the formula for quadratic solutions, and you will get that. But then you will anyway see that none of these values are going to appear. Okay, if it was simpler, probably I would have done that. If it was even simpler, maybe I would have been able to see something here only. Okay, but that's not the case. The easiest solution here was, easiest method rather, was to plug in the numbers. Okay, let's look at this. In the figure above, AB is a line segment. AB is a line segment. All right, what is the value of this x, y? Okay, this is line segment, x square, x square, x square. So this is 180 degrees divided into x plus x plus x. That means x is 3x is 180, so x is 60. On this side again 180 degree, y. 5y is 180, so y has to be 36, correct? Okay, now very easy. Now just have to find the value of this. X minus y is 60 minus 36 is going to be 24. X plus y is going to be 96. 24 by 96 is again very convenient numbers, 1 by 4. Answer is B, right? Okay, let me just get rid of this. It's overlapping. this question. Okay, let's look at 19. Okay, if the average arithmetic mean of 5 consecutive integers is 12. Okay, see, whenever you have x consecutive integers, right, and the average is given, don't take them as a plus 1, a plus 2, right? Instead of that, take them like this: a plus 1, a minus 1, and a plus 2, a minus 2. Why? Because when you add them up, all these guys will get cancelled, and what you will get is 5 times a, right? So average of arithmetic 5 consecutive numbers, let's say a minus 2, a plus 1, a minus 1, a plus 1, a plus 2. The average is 12. The middle number is going to be 12. Correct? How? Because if you add them up, you what you get is 5a. 5a divided by 5 is equal to 12. 5 cancelled, right? That's the definition of average, right? The sum divided by how many numbers we have. Okay, so a is 12. So basically we are talking about these numbers: 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We are talking about these numbers. What is the sum of the least and the greatest of the 5 integers? Sum of least and the greatest is 10 plus 14 is 20. Okay, even if you do it the other way, you will still get the same number, just that the calculation is slightly easier here. Okay, fine. What is the perimeter of the rectangle shown above? Okay, again, I was just talking about Pythagorean numbers. So the uh, this side here is going to be 8. Just because I know it, if you don't know it, you can still do it the Pythagorean way. So that is 100 minus, that is hypotenuse square minus one side square, 36. What you get is 64. Root of that is 8. Okay, but if you know it, it's just so much easier. Fine, so this is 8. That means this has to be 8, this has to be 6. What is the perimeter? 8 plus 6 and twice of that. 8 plus 6 is 14, twice of that is 28. So the answer is C. Okay, now let's move on to his graph question. Questions 21 to 25. It's not a graph, it's a chart. Some numbers are given. Okay, let's study the numbers. Profile of Congress in year X. Okay. Uh, Total membership 535. Okay, so they are talking about US Congress. So there is, it's like the parliament. Okay, Congress has 535 folks, right? It is divided into two houses, Senate and House of Representatives. Now, this is the basic that you need to understand. Even if you don't know it, you will still be able to figure out. Don't worry. So why? Because just look at this number 435 and 100. So that means this Congress thing is split into these two things. Correct? Because they add up to 535. Okay. So what are they basically saying? House of Representative, let's say House 1, House 2. Within that, parties Democratic, Republican, total. Okay, the word total again indicates that there is no third party, right? 62 plus 38, 100, 292 plus 143 is 435. Numbers are also adding up. Okay, it's fairly easy to see. So in this place there are these many Democrats, these many Republicans, and this much total. If you look at the sex, there are these many males, these many females, these many males, these many females. Okay, so now I understand the pattern. If you look at the age, youngest is this, average is this, oldest is this. Religion: Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, Mormon, other. These numbers will always add up to this thing. Okay, and by profession, we have this split. By ethnic group, we have this split. The only thing here is that these numbers don't add up. Okay, can you tell why? That's because these are only non-white ethnic groups: Black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans. Only the non-whites are given here. Okay, see, these are the old tests, so that some of the terminology like Black American and everything exists here. That's why I'm also using white American as a term. Okay, generally, because we are in 2025 now, these terms are they would have probably said African American or something. Okay. Anyway, these are old tests, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, basically they are saying there are two houses, and this is the composition with respect to different factors. Okay, fair enough. I understood the information. Let's move on. In the Senate, okay. Now some of the terms you should know. Okay, this is House of Representatives. This is Senate. This is Congress. Okay, don't confuse Senate as this overall thing. Okay, I'm only concerned about Senate now, right? These terms generally we are not very familiar with, so we need to be very careful. In the Senate, then only the right hand side column I'm going to look at. If 25 male members were replaced by 25 female members, okay, so male female Senate, I'm going to change 25 from one group to the other. Okay, the ratio of the male to female would be what? Okay, so let's go to male female chart first of all. Male female 100 0. I'm talking only about Senate. So before it was 100 0. If I change 25, this becomes 75 25. Okay, okay, 75 25 male female. What are they asking? Ratio of male to female. So 75 over 25, 3 to 1. Okay, pretty straightforward. Approximately what percentage of members of Congress are lawyers? Okay, they're talking about Congress. Total Congress they want lawyers. Okay, let's see lawyers. I have these many lawyers in Congress. Okay, not Senate. Okay, Congress. Okay. So let's see 215 plus 63. That's going to be 278 over 535. Okay, 278 over 535. You don't have to do this whole calculation. Let's just uh, roughly let's do it. If it is 278, if I multiply that by 2, if 250, okay, what would be the half number of this? It's somewhere around half, right? So that's going to be 200 and 268 or something, right? So this is more than half. Let's look at the answer choices. It's very easy to do it more than half. Okay, so there are, but again, there are these three answer choices that are, this is more than half, so this is wrong. I don't think it is 60%. It has to be slightly more than half. Okay. If you do the calculation, you will figure out that it is 52. Okay. Because it has to be slightly more than half. Okay. But let's still do it. What was the number? Uh, 2, 278. Let me do the calculation here. 278 divided by 535. Okay, 535 is divisible by 5, so I do divided by 5, 107. I just trying to get it down to 100 so I can get it to some percentage form. This divided by 100 would be, sorry, this divided by 5 would be 5 to 8, right? So it would be 286. Okay, 56. Correct, somewhere close to 56. 56 out of 107, right? That means if it had to be about 100, if I were talking about base as 100, this number would have to be less than 56, right? So the only number, such a number is 52. The answer has to be D. Okay. You can also do verification. For example, you can do 278 into 52, correct? And you'll get such by doing the right calculation. Sorry, not 270 into 52, 535 into 0.52, and then you'll get a number close to 278. Okay, I got confused, sorry for that. Okay, right, you could do that. I mean, I'm not doing it now. There's also a shortcut there. For example, you first take 50%, then you take 2% and just add that and you'll get this. Okay, but anyway, the answer has to be D. Right, whenever you are very close, just better to do calculation, but that is going to take some time, so better you gain some time by in some other questions that are really easy, right? So that you leave some time for these kind of calculations and all in case you need to do it. Okay. Question 23: if 5 senators are Catholic Democrats, how many senators are neither Catholic nor Democratic? Okay, now this is a very interesting question. Catholic Democrats. Let me look at the graph. Catholic information is given here. Democrats information is given here. And am I talking about Congress or Senate of Representative? I'm talking about Senate. Senate. Okay, so let me first understand this. How do I combine the information from these two charts. Okay, it's very important to understand this graph. Let's go very intuitively. Okay, let me change the number. This is change the color. We have Democrats. Sorry, we have Senate, right? That's what we're talking about. There are two ways I can split the Senate. One with respect to the party, that is what? Democrats and Republicans, and those are non-overlapping groups. Correct. There is another way I can split this. I can split this into Catholic and non-Catholic. Correct. This plus this is going to be total Catholics in Senate. This plus this is going to be total non-Catholics. This plus this is going to be total Democrats. This plus this is going to be total Republicans. Correct. In Senate. So why am I drawing it this way? Because there are overlaps here, like Catholic Democrats. Now I don't know Catholic Democrats. They are giving Catholics separately, Democrats separately. So I will have to create this kind of an, this is basically like a Venn diagram, right? I will have to create this, otherwise I will not know. But I also know that there are 62 Democrats. Okay, so there are total 62 Democrats. That's this plus this. Okay, total there are 12 Catholics. So this plus this is 12. Okay, Republicans I have 38, right? Uh, this number is not so useful because that is about House of Representatives. We are dealing with Democrats. Oh, sorry, Senate. Okay, fine. So now let's see. There are some numbers in the question also. There are 5 senators who are Catholic Democrats. Okay, let's put that here. 5 Catholic Democrats. Now, can you tell me where it will go? That will go here. 5 senators are Catholic Democrats. That means this number has to be 7. Okay. Also, if this is 62 and this is 5, this has to be 57. Correct? Then what is this number? So this is 12. This is 57. This plus this is 57 plus 12 is 69. If that is 69 and the total has to be 100, how do I know total is 100? Because total is 100. Okay. If total is 100 and this is 69, this has to be 31. Okay. Or you could also say if this is 7, this is 38, this is 31. Okay. Either way, it works out. Right. All right. Now I know everything about the Senate with respect to these two parameters, Catholic and Democrats. Okay. Now let's look at the question. The question is, the 5 senators are Catholic Democrats. How many senators are neither Catholic nor Democrats? Okay. Uh, I don't want the Democrats here. That means not this. I don't want Catholics also. Neither Catholic nor Democrats are 31. Okay. See, this 31 figure is very difficult to see from these numbers. Okay. Unless you draw the diagram, you will not be able to see the 31. Right. So the 31 is the answer. The answer has to be D. It's one of the most interesting questions in this set. Right. This will require some sort of creative thinking, some sort of insight into how the data is presented. This question is likely to take much longer than other questions. Okay, like I said, right here also this is kind of a tricky question, the previous question, because you had to do a little bit of calculation, but this really will require thinking. So for these type of questions, you need to keep some time aside because you are bound to encounter 2 or 3 questions like this. So the easier question, you gain speed is the game. For difficult questions, concept is the game. Okay, so okay, let's move on. If all lawyers and all women in the House of Representatives, okay, now I'm talking about House of Representatives, lawyers and women, vote for a passage of a bill, how many more votes will be needed for majority? Okay, House of Representatives, lawyers and women. Let's see, lawyers, House of Representatives, I know. Women also I know. Okay. Total is 435. So for majority, how many do I need? I need 218 for majority divided by 2. Correct. So it actually comes out to be 17.5. I'm just rounding off. Okay. So I need 218 folks in House of Representatives majority. I got 218 and I got 17 females. Okay, so I get what, 215. So let me just write here 215 and 70. So 235, 232. Is that how I do it? That would be an intuitive way of doing it. Okay, but that is wrong. Now, can you think why that is wrong? Because we don't know how many lawyers are females. These are not mutually exclusive groups, right? There is an overlap. How much is that overlap? We don't know. If all lawyers are males, okay, then counting lawyers separately, counting females separately makes sense. In that case, it would be 235, 232, sorry, 232 was the number, right? Okay, because I will have to add them. They are separate individuals. But what if all lawyers are females? So when I count them in the lawyers group, I've already counted females. So in that case, the sum is going to be 218 only. Not 218, sorry, 215 only. I might still need three people, three votes, because the majority is 218. So it's a very interesting question, overlapping concepts. It cannot be determined from information given. Okay, now look at this three, right? This is deliberately placed there because they know that people are going to do this calculation. For majority, 218 required, 215 lawyers, 17 females, uh, 232. Okay, 232 is one more possibility. One other possibility is some people will just look at this difference and mark 3. Okay, some people might match 0 because they will add these two separately and say, okay, no more votes required, right? 435 is anyway the total, so that's also one tempting answer choice. Okay, so whenever you have this, it cannot be determined. Now be very, very careful. There may just be something that you are not considering. Okay, all right. Okay, let's look at question 25. Which of the following can be inferred from the information given? More than 80% of the men in Congress are members of House of Representatives. Okay, we'll have to deal with this data. Okay, more than eight. How many people are there in Congress? 518, and more than 80% of the males. Okay, so let's do a graph like this. This is again something, some similar graph, right? This is House of Representative, this is Senate. These are males and females. Okay, so we know that there are 100 and 0 here, correct? This is given. I'm just drawing this number, this in a table format. 418, 17. Okay, 418, 17. Total males 518, total females 17, and the whole total is 535. Okay, so now what is the question? More than 80% of men in Congress. How many men are there in Congress? 518. More than 80% of that. So 518 into 0.8. You could do it this way. Okay, are the members of House of Representatives. Okay, we want to validate this. So you could do the calculation way, but there is one easy figure to work with here, 100. So let me do it that way. If I were to calculate how many percent males are in Senate, okay, because there's 100 there, right? So I want to use that 100. So that number would be 100 divided by 518. Though that would be the percentage of males in Congress that are there in the Senate. And then 100 minus that would be the number required. Now this number 100, compare that with 100 by 500. That would be 20%, right? That means 100 divided by 518 is slightly more than 20%. Sorry, slightly less than 20%. Okay, because the base is bigger. So this number here we have slightly less than 20%. That means this number percentage has to be slightly more than 20%. Correct? Or you could do it this way also. You can do the calculation and you will see that that number is more than 20%. Okay, I mean, you can compare this number and this number and you will know that 418 is greater than this. Okay, so this is true. More than 80% of men in Congress are members. So this is true. Okay, I am particularly liking this set because there's these finer nuances of calculation that are more than what we saw in the previous set. Okay, let's look at two, the percentage of members who are categorized as farmers or ranchers is greater in house 1 than in house 2. Okay. Percent, what's the word? Proportion, percent of members. Okay. So how many members are farmers of ranchers? 40 out of 435 compared with 6 out of 100. Okay. So 14 out of 435, 6 out of 100. Which one is bigger? Okay. See here, this is almost by a factor of 2. This is almost by a factor of 4. Correct. So if this was to had to be something around 400, if for the Senate, if this base had to be something around 400, the numerator would have to be something around 24. Okay. Right. For them to be equal, obviously this is much smaller. This is much bigger. Correct. That means the percent is higher in Senate. The percent of winners who are categorized farmers is greater for the house. No, it's not greater for the house. It is less for the house. This is false. Okay. Median age of Senate is 57. Let's look at the age. Median age of Senate. We have Senate here. Uh, we have age. Okay, interesting. Yeah, median age is 57. Can we say that there are 100 people? Youngest is 34, the oldest is 80, the average is 54. Okay, how is that average coming? We don't know. I mean, uh, maybe most of them are 54, 54, 54, 54, 54, 54 only, and there is 134, 180, and there is one number that we just pick. In that case, the median would be 54 only, because if you arrange them in a, I mean, basically what I'm saying is it's a little complicated. Let's say I want the average to be 54 and this to be 34 and the oldest to be 80. So, and I want 100 such numbers. The first number is like this, second number is like this, and all these numbers I give as for 54 only, 54, 54. I don't know how many numbers. Okay. 54, 54, 54, 98 such numbers, sorry, 97 such numbers. So I get 97 numbers here, one number here, one number here. Now there's only one number pending. Okay. That number I calculate so that the average is 54. Okay. That could either go here or here. Okay. And now I sort it, correct? And look at the number that comes exactly in the middle of this range. The exactly in the middle of this range is going to be 54 only, because they're just 97, 54. Okay, it could be the middle 54, it could be the middle plus first 54, it could be the middle minus first 54, but it will still be 54. Okay, because I know 99 of these numbers. Okay, that is just one possibility. Okay, uh, but there are other possibilities also. Maybe, okay, maybe most of the people are 34, 34, 34, 34, 35, 35, 35, 35. In that case, obviously the median will be much less, or maybe it's the other way around. Okay, uh, I don't really know. I can't really say anything with certainty about 57. Okay, so this cannot be determined. So what do I have? Which of the following can be inferred? Only one can be inferred. Okay, the answer has to be one. This is little statistical nuance. Okay, rewatch the video if you didn't understand this, but the answer is A. Okay, let's move on. If xy is not equal to 0, x minus 1 divided by xy. Okay, so how would that be? It would be x by xy minus 1 by xy. Correct. So x gets cancelled, 1 by y minus 1 by xy. 1 by y minus 1 by xy. D. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, let's look at this number 27. The number 0.01 is how many times as great as the number 0.0001 square. Okay, see, the idea is to understand how this number is going to be calculated. 0.0001 square. Okay, let's look at this 0.1 square. Basically, that is 0.1 into 0.1. Okay, so there is one digit after uh, after the decimal, there's another digit after the decimal, so there has to be two digits after the decimal. So it has to be of the form dot xx. Okay, And in terms of the absolute number, this second axis has to be 0. So what you get is 0.01. Okay. Or there's another way to understand this is, let's say 10 raised to minus 1 raised to 2. Correct? 10 raised to minus 1 raised to 2. I think that's an easier one to understand. So then you just multiply it. This becomes minus 1 into 2, 10 raised to minus 2. That is 0.01. Okay. Let's do the same thing here. Let's do this, express this in terms of 10 raised to something. So 10 raised to what? 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 10 raised to minus 4 raised to 2. That means it's going to be 10 raised to minus 8. Okay. 10 raised to minus 8 is, how is it written? 10 raised to minus 8. It is written as, okay, don't even worry about decimals. That will become complicated. If you're doing this power way, let's do it a power way only. So 0.01 is 10 raised to minus 2. Okay. So essentially the question is 10 raised to minus 2 is how many times as great as 10 raised to minus 8. Okay. So if 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 10 raised to minus 8 is what? It is 10 raised to 6. Correct. This minus 8 will become plus 8 when it comes on the top. Minus 2 plus 8 is 6. So 10 raised to 6. Uh, Initially I was trying to explain it the decimal way. You could do it that way also. In that way, I'll just quickly explain that also. Basically what it means is that there are 4 decimals, right? A square of that is going to have 8 decimals, and this number basically then comes out to be like this: 0.1234567 8. Okay. And then you keep multiplying 1 2 3 4 5 6. If you multiply by 10 raised to 6, you get 0.01. Okay. So again, the answer is 10 raised to 6. But that's more of a visual way, or calculating the digits kind of a way. This is, I think, the easier way. 10 raised to something. Okay. 28. A certain cake recipe states that the cake should be baked in a pan of 8 inches in diameter. Okay, in a pan of 8 inches in diameter. Okay, like I told you in the beginning, be careful about radius diameter. Okay, r is equal to 4. If Jules wants to use the recipe to make a cake of the same depth, okay, there's a depth also, right? There's a depth, same depth d, but 12 inches in diameter. Okay, now she wants 12 inches in diameter. Okay, so that means r is fixed. This is 12, depth is the same. Okay. By what factor should we multiply the recipe ingredients? Obviously, she wants a bigger cake, right? How much bigger? That's basically the question. So the cake is going to be, what's going to be the volume? We are talking about the ingredients, so we are talking about volume. The volume is going to be pi r square d, depth. Okay, d is the same, so let's, pi is the same, so don't really have to worry about it. What we have to do is the radius square divided by the big radius square divided by small radius square. Okay, the big radius square is 36, small radius square is 16. Okay, so that means 18 by 8, that is 9 by 4. Correct? Do we have any 9 by 4 here? Yes, we have a 9 by 4 here. 2 1/4 is 9 by 4. Correct? Another way to do that would be, the only dimension that is changing is r. How much is that changing by in terms of ratio? It is going up by 1.5 times, which is 3 by 2 times it is going up. And in the volume formula, it appears as something squared. So I'm just going to take 3 by 2 square. That is going to be the ratio of the bigger volume versus the smaller volume, which is again comes out to be 9 by 4. Correct? 9 by 4, you could do it that way also. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, let me first get rid of this. Okay, sorry. Okay, what do I have here? If x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0, which of the following is equivalent to this? Okay, so let's solve this. X by y into, let's take the root individually, root y divided by root of x square, that is x. X and X will get cancelled, root y will get cancelled. What I have here is root y, 1 over root y. Answer choice E. Pretty straightforward. Okay, the cost in dollars of manufacturing X refrigerators is 9,000 plus 400X. Okay, the amount received when selling those X refrigerators is $500. Okay. So this is what is the cost of making. This is the money you get after selling. All right. What is the least number of refrigerators that must be manufactured and sold so that the amount received is at least equal to the manufacturing cost? So they are saying find out the X where both these guys are same. Okay. Those many are at least I should be selling. Okay. If I sell more, I'll make profit. If I sell less, I'll make loss. Okay. Pretty straightforward. 9,000 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 9,000 equal to 100x. So x has to be 9. So choice D. Okay. So this was a fairly intense set, I would say, from the point of view of these the big book. Okay. Why? Because there are these, for example, this question, some of the questions here, and this question also, for that matter, required a little bit of thinking. They are not very straightforward. For example, some of these questions that we saw at the end, they were pretty straightforward, right? But some questions required some creative problem solving. So I hope you enjoyed the set, and I'll see you in the next video.